Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey here, once again with another video on The Flash Season 4. So just quickly before we get into the rest of this video, I will be doing another sort of Q&A, which I've done, previously. So just leave any questions that can be on any of the TV shows we watch or any other TV shows in general, movies or personal stuff, and yeah, just anything like that. So leave them in the comments section down below, and most likely your question will appear in my Q&A video, which I'll release, in the next week or so, once I can just get around to making it and gather up some good questions. So as I have said ever since the conclusion of San Diego Comic-Con this year, there have been, little nuggets of information and hints in regards to what to expect when we return for the new seasons of all of our favourite TV shows around the early October area. There are still a decent amount of things to go over from Comic-Con, which I will try and get through over my next handful of videos, as I obviously, don't want to be dwelling on old news. And then we can move on to things that will get revealed as we move closer to the beginnings of the new seasons. Now, Grant Gustin, who we should, all know by now is the guy that plays Barry Allen, well, he did an interview with comicbook.com in which Barry and his journey into the Speedforce was a major focus. I will leave that link to the interview down in the description below, so be sure to show that link some love, as that is the source, and I guess you could say the inspiration for this video. So yeah, Grant was asked about Barry's time in the Speedforce, and this is what he had to say. We're not necessarily going to see Barry's experience in the Speedforce. We'll see kind of the effects that the Speedforce has had on Barry, and he's been in there 6 months real time. I suspect the Speedforce is kind of non-linear with time, so Barry has experienced his entire life from start to end infinity times over since he's been in there. Now, that is actually an interesting thing that was brought up, as I have mentioned in a handful of videos, I'm not too sure how many, just a handful of them, like how long will Barry think he has been in the Speedforce, and how long did he have to go through whatever he has gone through within the Speedforce. We know that Wally felt like he was in there for a decent amount of time, but he was in there for what, like a day or something in real time, not very long in comparison to the 6 months in real time that Barry will be in there for. We also saw the effect the Speedforce had on Wally, which does lead into the next thing that Grant talks about as he goes over the effect the Speedforce will have on Barry going forward. He's going to have kind of an awakening when he comes out. He's going to have some knowledge that he probably doesn't even quite understand yet. He'll also be a little scrambled. He won't really be himself the first time we see him. Now, some might not like the idea of this, and some will be pretty excited by it and looking forward to it. Going into Season 6, it does seem that we will get not necessarily a reborn or rebooted different type of Barry, but we will definitely be getting a changed Barry, and you would have to think it is a change for the good. Barry Allen on the show can tend to be a bit clueless and sometimes cocky, I guess, and rely on others a lot of the time to get him through things. Don't get me wrong, I love Team Flash. I love having them on the show. They definitely add a lot to the show. But I would like to see Barry be given, a new look on his abilities and the power that the Speedforce does possess. Which does look like it could be the case going by what Grant Gustin had to say, which does get me very, very excited. As I have said, Barry will have been in the Speedforce for around 6 months when we see him back, so you would have to think he has learned quite the amount from the source of his powers and how to get the most out of them. An interesting point that is brought up by Grant is that we won't necessarily see Barry's time in the Speedforce, but we will see the effects of it on him after he gets out of the Speedforce. While it might seem disappointing to some that we won't see his time in the Speedforce, it does sort of give us the point of view from the others in Team of Flash, as they won't get to see Barry's time in the Speedforce either. They will just witness the effects of it. So that's what it does seem like they are going for, just giving us the point of view of Team Flash rather than making it like we had someone following Barry throughout his whole time in the Speedforce, which, if you think about it, would be a bit boring. Like, I don't think there's necessarily anything interesting happening all the time in the Speedforce. It'd be like every now and then something cool happened in there that would actually be worth looking at. I do think we will get a taste of what Barry had to deal with though, but it will be in like the final moments before he gets out of the Speedforce. Like we did see in the trailer, Barry running around in that new suit. That could be in the Speedforce. You think it would be, but we'll have to wait and see. But you think we'd see something that's like Barry standing there doing nothing, and then he gets the sign that they're trying to get him out of the Speedforce, and he'll start running to wherever that escape point is, if you want to call it that. But yeah, I think that's all we'll really see of Barry in the Speedforce. Just like the final moments and then him escaping. But we'll have to wait and see, as I said. One of the effects though that I think would be pretty interesting to see play out is some sort of like conflict between himself and Iris and possibly other members of Team Flash. I'm not saying fighting or like verbally abusing each other, but just some sort of like resistance from Barry to continue where they all left off. This could be due to like some like PTSD, like post-traumatic stress of like sorts from the Speedforce, or possibly from something he learns about in the Speedforce. Obviously, the Speedforce isn't linear with time, so he could learn about some stuff that's happening in the future by accident, or the Speedforce could tell him, and maybe it puts him off interacting with some certain people straight away, or he's like scared to, something along those lines. I would like to see that be an effect of his time in the Speedforce. But do let me know what you think of all of this in the comment section down below. But thanks for watching, guys. As I said, make sure to leave some Q&A questions in the comment section down below for a Q&A video I'll do, as I said, you know, roughly in the next week or so. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like on it. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.